Hi everybody, thank you very much for joining us again in our next Café with Alumni. Today I have with me Ursula Oldenburg, and welcome Ursula. She will let us know a little bit more about her and her journey at Le Cordon Bleu London. So, Ursula, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Ursula Oldenburg. I am from Canada. I'm 45 years old. I used to work in accounting and I switched careers. I decided to do a diploma in gastronomy, nutrition and food trends, and I totally fell in love with the kitchen. And then I did a diploma in cuisine, and now I'm lucky enough to work at the Cordon Bleu as a chef de partie.
And we are lucky to have you as well.
Thank you very much.
So, why did you choose to come to Le Cordon Bleu London?
I chose the Cordon Bleu London because of its reputation in the industry. I was at a crossroads in my career, and I wanted to do something else, and I wanted to do something that was aligned with my interests in food, nutrition, and health.
Okay, that's great. So, how was your experience after the course?
It was great. I absolutely hit the ground running after I graduated. I took 1 month off because it was quite an intense course, and then I started right away doing trial weeks or trial days in restaurants and hotels, and the whole experience was wonderful. A lot of hard work, but wonderful.
So it was rewarding then?
Yes, it was.
And did you took the standard or the intensive option?
I did the standard option. I thought about doing the intensive option, but I thought that 6 months would have been a little bit much. I have a family, and I needed a little bit of time to focus on them and not just be all school. And so it was the perfect option for me.
Great. And how did this knowledge gained from the Diplôme de Cuisine help your career?
It helped me immensely, and I would say that having that qualification from the Cordon Bleu just helped me have the confidence to apply for jobs. I didn't have any previous experience in kitchens, and this really kind of gave me a boost to say, hey, I have the certification from the Cordon Bleu. I can plate. I can do the same thing over and over again. I have the discipline. So yeah.
Okay, but was it really intense for you, even though it was the standard instead of the intensive option?
It was absolutely intense. So I went back to being a student essentially, and it's been a very long time since I've been that. And so just, eating, living, breathing, school, being with the same group of people, it was all encompassing.
That's great. And how do you think that Le Cordon Bleu Diplôme de Cuisine compares to other courses?
So definitely, being one of the most prestigious culinary schools in the world, that definitely helps a lot. And I would just say the fact that it's been established for so long, and they really know what they're doing.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
And I believe they are glad to hear that as well.
Can I share a story about my application at the Cordon Bleu?
Of course.
Yeah. So it was between the Cordon Bleu and another culinary school. And when I saw the other culinary school, I thought, this is nice, but there's something not quite right. There's something missing. And so I went back to the drawing board, and when I walked into the Cordon Bleu, I thought, yeah, this is the place. The Cordon Bleu is a beautiful building. It's bathed with light, and I just stepped in and I thought, yeah, this is the place. This is going to be where I'm going to make something of myself in food and hospitality.
But did you have a tour before applying, or you applied without seeing the school?
Yeah, I did a tour, and everyone was super helpful. I saw the classes. There were people in the classes. I saw the cafe. I saw everything, and it was very easy to see myself as a student there. in spite of my age and you know, experience not in the kitchen.
No, I believe this is really
Yeah.
important to make the decision.
Yes,
anyway.
yeah, absolutely. I think you really need to be able to step into a place and picture yourself there.
Yes, of course.
Before making a decision.
Totally agree with that. And what is the best experience or best things you learned at Le Cordon Bleu London?
I would say that the whole experience was absolutely magical and hard work, but it was great from beginning to end. I think working with the teaching chefs and, you know, knowing their backgrounds, I think that was just such an asset to everything. I felt just that there's a lot of repetition in the course, and I felt that all of that was very important. The whole emphasis on detail and plating and things that you don't necessarily get when you're working in a restaurant. You know, I think when you work in a restaurant, it's rush, 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 go, go, go. But I actually had the experience of learning everything at school and applying everything and practicing. I think the practice element was very important.
Okay, but do you think is enough time for practice, or do you think that maybe you need more hours because you didn't have this experience previously?
So I thought that was going to be an issue, but I think practicing in class and actually being graded on points really helped a lot, because it kind of teaches you to work to a certain standard, and you know, obviously I was up front when I applied for jobs and when I started working in the industry. I told them, look, I don't really have that much experience, and but because of the name, they're all, you know, very happy to hire me. So
of course, maybe
yeah.
they know that you learn the techniques and
yes,
you have
exactly.
this type of repetition,
exactly.
so you are able
and
to learn.
That's right, yeah. And I think that really set me apart from a lot of people working in kitchens. So a lot of people start very young, and they learn on the job. And for me, that was the reverse. I learned all of my techniques at school, and I was able to apply them on the job. So I think that was very valuable, and it kind of set me apart from everybody, which is great.
But I think this is also an asset for you, because anyway, you came from a different industry.
Yes.
But you gain other type of skills.
Different industry. Yes.
So maybe you can apply them now, actually, in your current job. Some of them, maybe.
Yes, exactly. If we're talking about skills from my previous job, I would say that there was a little bit of cross training. Working in kitchens now, you need to do things like budgeting and forecasting and that sort of thing, and all
also
of that.
the organization skills.
Yes, exactly. I thought that working in kitchens would be all about speed and churning things out, and it is to a certain degree, but it's 85% organization, and that's one of the things that you learn at the Cordon Bleu. So one of the elements and aspects of the course is creating time plans, which you don't actually do in kitchens, but it forces you to have a certain mindset, and yeah, that was very valuable.
So I believe this was kind of important. So when you finally finish your course and you go to the real industry, basically, you can use what you have learned.
Yes.
And you can see that everything that you have been learning since the beginning of the course, you
yes.
are able to use it now.
Absolutely, everything. And I think one of my most rewarding experiences was being able to show people that had worked in kitchens for much longer than me. Oh, you need to, you know, I don't know, put a leaf of coriander right side up so that you get the shininess of the leaf, that sort of thing. This is the kind of thing that you learn at the Cordon Bleu. This is the kind of thing that's drummed into you, and the kind of thing that not everybody knows. So it was very rewarding to be able to pass that knowledge on to somebody that I thought was senior to me.
That sounds great,
yeah.
Of course. And not because you're new, you don't have anything to show or anything maybe to teach.
Exactly. Who knew, eh?
Exactly. And now, I think this question is one of the favorites, because it's what is an average day on the course like? So what you were doing on your daily basis?
So you wake up, you go to school, you go to the cafe and get your morning coffee, and then you bring it to demonstrations, and then it's basically a mix of demonstrations and practicals. Sometimes you have one per day, oftentimes you have 3, and it's all very concentrated. And yeah, it's a mixture of both.
And what about when you had the demos and then the practicals? Were all the same day or maybe in a different days?
So generally they were all in the same day, but you know, there were a few gaps.
Of course,
Yeah.
sometimes it's not possible because of the schedule. But
Yes,
then
exactly.
Normally, yes.
But I think the aim is to have the demos and the practicals in the same day, just so that the knowledge is fresh in your mind. So you watch the chefs create the dishes, and then you go and recreate them in your practicals.
So how important is note taking in the course?
Oh, it's very important. So in the manuals they give you the ingredients, but they don't give you the actual method. So it's up to you to record everything that the teaching chef shows you in the demos.
Of course.
And you're allowed to bring you're encouraged to bring your notes into the practicals, and you can make additional notes in there. No, they're absolutely they're vital. They're vital. Yeah.
Okay, sure. But for example, if you're in the demo, I believe you were asking the questions there, but if you're in the practical, were you able as well to ask your questions?
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. And the teaching chefs totally encourage that. Everyone is super helpful. They want you to ask questions because the whole point of the demos and the practicals is to get you ready for the exams. So it's those areas and those places where you need to ask the questions.
So, what did you find most challenging during your time at Le Cordon Bleu London as a student?
I would say speed and organization. In my previous career, there was a lot of organization involved, but just here I had to churn things out. I had to get things ready, and I had to do it I had a finite amount of time, and I found that difficult at the beginning. But obviously with 90 classes, you learn how to organize yourself properly, and the chefs were so helpful. So I would say that they didn't just teach me, they don't just teach you how to cook, they also teach you how to organize yourself, because a lot of people don't know that going in, and we're learning from the chefs, and yeah, that's one of the core components, I would say. Yeah. Anyway, very challenging, speed and organization, but I got there, I hope.
So what opportunities open up to you after graduating?
Oh, so many. So my first opportunity in the kitchen was actually attending, it was actually while I was still a student. I was just about to finish, and we had a guest chef, and I got to talking to him, and then he said, "Ooh, I have the perfect place for you." And through that, I got my first trial shift, because I had no idea where I was going to start. And of course they were really intrigued by the fact that, not intrigued, but they were interested in me because I was from the Cordon Bleu, and they had positive experiences with everybody from there, and yeah, that was how I started. And the Cordon Bleu opened doors everywhere, so all of my trial days, they all said yes, basically. They all offered me jobs.
Wow.
And not only that, I think another aspect that I hadn't thought about previously was that I met so many people through the program that went on to open their own businesses and start their own enterprises. And the first place they look is within their peer group. And so I've gotten lots of requests to go and work for people who have started their own businesses through other alumni.
That's so great.
Yeah, that was something I hadn't thought about it.
You were spending a lot of times with your colleagues, with the same group, with the same people in the kitchen.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So
yes, you get to know everybody very well.
Exactly. So you have the time to meet everybody, to know them really well.
Yes, exactly.
So it's quite good.
Exactly.
I think.
No, it was very good, and actually that was. Before I was a student, that was one of the things I was quite nervous about. I thought, oh, my age, everybody's going to be so young, but actually it wasn't an issue at all. Everyone was so welcoming, and they're like your second family at school. So, yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you very much for sharing. And we have another question, which is really, really interesting. And was it hard to learn so much so quickly?
Oh, I don't think I would have been able to absorb the same level of information if the program wouldn't have been so concentrated. I mean, you live your school, and you eat and breathe and everything at school, and I think. No. There's no other way to do it. The program it has to be structured the way it is, because how else are you going to imbibe all of that information and all of those resources? Yeah, no, that was very important, and the only way to do it.
Great. And in your opinion, what is the best part of studying at Le Cordon Bleu London?
I would say that the first thing is the knowledge that you're going to get this amazing professional certification after studying. For me, that was what it was all about. That was the thing that got me through the door. That was the thing that kept me going. And I would say that a close second was a very close second was the skills that I picked up from the teaching chefs. I mean, they really taught me everything I know.
I think they would like to hear that. So Ursula, what was your experience like as a mature student?
Oh, it was totally positive. I had some reservations before going into the program. I thought, what's it going to be like for me? Am I going to be, a 40-year-old amongst 18-year-olds? But it's not like that at all. So there's a broad range of ages. That was the thing that surprised me the most, and you make friends very, very quickly, and everybody is so inclusive. I mean, I got an Instagram account after making friends with people who were a lot younger than me. I mean, everybody was really, really encouraging, and there was no, it was just a fear that I had going in, but once I was in there was no fear at all. Everyone was really wonderful and welcoming.
I think all of you are in the same situation in this case, so you are coming from a different country sometimes, or even from this country but not knowing, so it's like the same feeling when you are starting the school, maybe?
Yes, exactly.
Was it difficult to find our school life balance?
It was a learning curve at the beginning to go from office work to student life, but you get used to it. So generally the classes are concentrated around kind of sociable hours, interspersed with the odd late class. But I think that prepares you for what it's like working in hospitality. And there weren't too many of those, and you know what's coming, so it's not like a complete surprise, and you can organize your time. I was able to organize my time. I didn't have any issues with that, and I have a family.
That's great, because I believe plenty of our viewers have a family too, so it's always good to know from a person who has studied this way.
Exactly.
And Ursula, is the diploma enough training to go into a role as a professional chef?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Not having had very much experience, that was the only thing that kept me going, really. And yeah, like I said before, everyone was really interested in the fact that I had been to the Cordon Bleu, and that was the thing that got me through the door. Yes, absolutely. As long as you have the confidence to put yourself forward, and you put yourself forward with not a whole lot of experience, you'll be fine.
Okay, but was it hard for you because you were coming from a different industry and you changed career, so you needed to start from the bottom again,
Yes.
but in a different industry? Was it hard for you?
The short answer is yes. It was difficult. You know, obviously in my previous career, I had progressed, and I wasn't at the bottom, let's say. And here I did have to start at the bottom, but it didn't matter. I think I had a plan, and as long as you have a plan, it doesn't really matter where you start. And you know, sometimes you have to work your way through the tunnel to get to the end. And I think if you have a great attitude, employers will see that, your bosses will see that, and you know, all of those attributes really they shine through. So
yeah, I think it's easy to find the people who has passion.
Yes,
because you know.
Yes, exactly.
No, you are trying to reach the excellence, so we can see that. I think everybody can see that.
No, I agree. I think having the passion is something that is easily translatable, and everyone will see that. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
And what are the exams like, if you remember?
Yes, I do remember. I'll never forget. So the exams were difficult, but that's the whole point of the training. I mean, you all of your courses and hours logged at school, they prepare you for the exams, and yeah, although they were difficult, I was ready, and I felt totally supported. And you know, you go through the demos and you go through the practicals, encouraged to ask questions, and you practice, and so by the time the exam rolls around, you're ready for it. You just really have you have to have the chops to get through the exam. That's it, and to not sort of crack under the pressure. I think that's the key.
Okay.
But in terms of preparation and everything, you are very well prepared.
I think this is really important to know, because obviously if you have the training and you have the hours spent in the kitchen, so basically you have the time to prepare yourself properly for the exam,
yeah,
it shouldn't be a problem. But of course, I think they would like to know also, what about the exams during the certificates? Because in order to pass the certificate, you will have your exam anyway. If not, you cannot continue. Was it one? Was it practical? Did you have any other exams?
Yes, so there were quite a few exams. You had to do a food safety exam. That was the first exam that you did, and then you had to do a theory exam, and then you have to do the actual practical exam, and you need to do that. So there are 3 modules. There's if you do the Diplôme de Cuisine, there is a basic, intermediate, and superior, and you do a theory and a practical for each of them, and you also do a final project at the end of your superior exam, which you're graded on.
Sounds good.
But yes, it was good, and again, I can't stress enough that you're very prepared for it, and you know, your whole time there is geared towards passing the exam.
Thank you.
So there are no surprises.
That's good to hear. I believe they will be glad to hear that as well. And what advice would you give to someone looking to follow in your footsteps?
I would say go for it. There's every reason in the world not to do something that you don't want to do, right? So you just absolutely need to go for it, and then think about the other stuff later. And if you have a good attitude, then that's going to shine through, and it will pull you through everything. I mean, it's hard work, don't get me wrong, but if you have a plan and a good attitude, you will get there.
I'm sure. Yeah. And what are your plans for the future then?
So I'm going to continue on working in the kitchen for some time. I'm really interested in management. That was something that didn't think would happen, but it's very interesting to work with such a broad range of people, such a broad range of ages and nationalities, and the kitchen becomes your family, and I love that. But I think that ultimately I'll probably go into some kind of food charity work. Working in kitchens has really highlighted the problem of food waste and plastic waste and food sustainability, provenance, all of that, and that's an area that I'm really interested in exploring.
So thank you very much, Ursula, for joining us today.
Thank you very much, it was a pleasure.
And thank you all for watching. See you on the next video.
Bye.